Love, Lies, and Loyalty. The OPSEC Minute, Extended, Episode 063. Prologue, Stuttgart, Germany, pre-dawn. The morning mist clung to vineyards at the U.S. military community. Gates hissed open, common access cards scanned, and German and American flags danced in the cool breeze. On Panzer Kaserne, lights flickered inside the Directorate of Plans, Training, Mobilization and Security, DPTMS. Coffee brewed, monitors glowing, awoke. The mission never slept. Around a conference table, Mr. James J.B. Brooks, the seasoned USAG Stuttgart OPSEC officer, leaned comfortably. Beside him, Mr. Alonzo Edwards, the command security manager, meticulously reviewed a folder. At the head, Colonel Edward Sanford, the Garrison Commander, surveyed the familiar faces. The atmosphere was professional, relaxed. Colonel Sanford smiled, then paused, his voice dropping. Every major security incident I've seen during my career started out looking like absolutely nothing. The room grew quiet. J.B. nodded. Exactly. He moved to the projector. The screen displayed one word: self-reporting. People imagine espionage starts with dead drops and shadowy meetings. It usually starts with lunch. Soft laughter. Alonzo Edwards closed his folder. And one decision. Not to tell anyone. Act 1. A chance encounter. 3 months earlier. Snow dusted the Stuttgart Christmas Market. Thousands of golden lights illuminating centuries-old streets. The aroma of roasted almonds filled the air. Jesse Mercer, a 32-year-old federal civilian logistics analyst from North Carolina, laughed, butchering a German word from a sign. Known for his reliability and terrible German, Jesse organized deployments blindfolded but couldn't order coffee without Google Translate. Tonight, work was far from his mind. He bumped into someone, hot chocolate splashing. "Oh, no!" A woman quickly reached for napkins, smiling. "I'm Elena." Her English carried a slight accent. 30, a Stuttgart-born architect, confident, warm, funny. Jesse laughed. "I guess that's one way to meet somebody." Montage, coffee, museums, Schlossplatz strolls, vineyard hikes, conversations lasting hours, no secrets, no deception, just two adults genuinely enjoying each other's company. Weeks later, in the office break room, 29-year-old Maya Sullivan, a cybersecurity specialist, saw Jesse grinning at his phone. "Who's making you grin like that?" "Someone I met downtown." "American?" "No, German." Maya smiled. "That's awesome." Then a pause. "Hey, you might want to stop by security sometime." Jesse chuckled. "We're just dating. No big deal." Across the room, Alonzo Edwards overheard only the final sentence. He approached. "Morning, Mr. Edwards." "I'm not trying to interrupt," Alonzo said, returning the smile. "But whenever life changes—" He tapped Jesse's CAC badge. "Don't guess. Ask. It costs nothing." Jesse nodded politely. "I appreciate it." As Alonzo walked away, Jesse whispered, "I think everybody worries too much." Act 2. Small decisions. Spring arrived, then summer. Weeks became months. The relationship deepened. Elena met Jesse's friends. Jesse met Elena's parents. Weekend trips became routine. Photos appearing on social media. Neither noticed how much of their lives quietly became public. Inside the security office, Mr. Edwards taught a quarterly briefing. If you're ever unsure whether something should be reported, ask. There is absolutely no penalty for asking. The earlier we know something, the easier it usually is. J.B. Brooks added, "We'd much rather answer a 5-minute question today than spend 5 months reconstructing yesterday." Laughter filled the classroom. Jesse laughed too, but he didn't ask. Summer. Elena's apartment underwent extensive renovations. Water damage, electrical work, months of disruption. One evening, she said cautiously, "I could stay with you, only until my place is finished." Jesse hesitated, then smiled. Of course. Boxes arrived, then furniture, clothes, another house key. Neither thought of it as moving in. It simply happened. One Saturday, touring homes outside Stuttgart, they told the realtor, "Just looking." By sunset, they discussed mortgage options, future renovations, maybe even children. That Monday, Maya noticed Jesse reviewing housing documents. Buying? Maybe. You've really gotten serious. I guess. She leaned closer. You ever talk to security? Jesse laughed. You sound like Edwards. It's just my personal life. Across post, continuous vetting quietly did its job. Travel records, financial activity, public social media. Nothing alarming, nothing sinister. Just pieces. Small pieces. At the annual Security Awareness Day, J.B. Brooks closed with one sentence. If you're wondering whether you should report something, you're already asking the right question. That evening, Jesse told Elena about the briefing. She laughed. So, did you ask? Jesse shook his head. Nah, they're talking about spies. I'm just dating you. Neither realized. No one at the briefing ever mentioned spies. Late autumn, a ring, a quiet proposal overlooking the Neckar River. She said yes. The future felt limitless. The next morning, Jesse's phone vibrated. An email. Subject, Annual Personnel Security Verification. He glanced at it, marked it unread. I'll do it tonight. He never did. A week later, at the Stuttgart Army Counterintelligence Office. Special Agent Natalie Cross, a 15-year Army counterintelligence veteran, studied a routine referral. Beside her, newly assigned Special Agent Marcus Vega, former military police, scanned the file. No derogatory information. Natalie nodded. No, not yet. Marcus looked puzzled. So why did this populate? She turned the monitor toward him. One data point appeared, then another. Foreign travel, shared residence indicators, financial linkage, open source social media, unanswered personnel verification. Individually, nothing remarkable. Collectively, a pattern. Marcus looked up. So, we're not investigating a foreign relationship. Natalie answered calmly. No. She closed the folder. We're determining whether someone stopped being candid. Act 3. The rubber meets the road. The autumn rain drummed against Panzerkaserne. Inside DPTMS, another Monday. For Jesse Mercer, life had never felt better. His fiancée, Elena Fisher, was his world. They'd signed paperwork on a townhouse, wedding plans were underway, children discussed. It felt like success, stability. Over nearly a year, Jesse had accumulated significant life changes. Some could have implications under his agency's reporting requirements. Yet every opportunity to ask security one simple question, should I report this? Had quietly slipped by. Meanwhile, Agents Cross and Vega sat in the counterintelligence office. Marcus looked puzzled. Everything I'm seeing looks normal. Natalie smiled. Exactly. No classified leak, no suspicious money, no unauthorized foreign travel, no espionage indicators. So why are we here? Natalie folded her hands. Counterintelligence isn't only about catching spies, it's also about reducing vulnerabilities before someone else discovers them. She pointed to Jesse's timeline. Every one of these events, standing alone, could have been discussed with his security office early. Maybe none would have changed his eligibility. Marcus nodded slowly. But, taken together, they suggest someone repeatedly decided not to seek guidance. The interview. The next morning, Jesse received a polite phone call requesting a routine discussion. He wasn't nervous until he entered the room. Agents Cross and Vega greeted him professionally. No accusations, no intimidation. Just conversation. Natalie smiled. Mr. Mercer, thank you for coming. Jesse relaxed slightly. "Of course," she began. "Tell us about Elena." His face brightened instantly. "I love her. We're getting married." Natalie smiled. "Congratulations." Jesse blinked. That wasn't where he expected the conversation to begin. For nearly an hour they talked. Germany, life overseas, travel, family. Then Natalie quietly slid a sheet of paper across the table. "It appears your relationship evolved over many months." Jesse nodded. "It did." "Were you ever uncertain whether you should notify your security office?" The room became very still. Finally, "I thought about it, but everyone dates over here. I figured it wasn't a big deal." Natalie nodded. "And did you ever ask?" Silence. "No." Act 4. Trust. Days later, Jesse sat in Mr. Alonzo Edwards' office. No anger, no lecture. Only disappointment mixed with genuine concern. Alonzo opened a notebook. "Jesse, I want you to hear something. You are not sitting here because you fell in love. You're not sitting here because Elena is German." Jesse looked up. "You are sitting here because you repeatedly chose not to ask questions when your circumstances changed." Jesse lowered his eyes. "I thought reporting it would make me look suspicious." Alonzo smiled sadly. "In this business, asking questions usually demonstrates maturity. Keeping quiet creates uncertainty." He leaned forward. "We expect life to happen. People fall in love. They marry. They have children. They buy homes. They face debt. They lose loved ones. None of those automatically make someone untrustworthy. What matters is whether we can continue to trust your judgment." Those words landed harder than any accusation. Later that afternoon, J.B. Brooks caught Jesse outside the building. "Walk with me." As they strolled, J.B. pointed to soldiers. "You know what those formations have in common? They correct little mistakes every day. They don't wait until the annual fitness test." He smiled. "Security works the same way." The wedding was postponed. Not canceled. Postponed. Jesse voluntarily updated his paperwork, provided documentation, met with security. He answered every question honestly. His supervisors appreciated the change in attitude. The process wasn't comfortable, but it was manageable, because he finally stopped trying to manage it alone. Months later, Colonel Sanford addressed a workforce town hall, sharing a lesson without naming names. "Our greatest strength is not perfection. It is our willingness to seek help early." Across the room, Jesse squeezed Elena's hand. She smiled back. Neither blamed the system anymore. Both understood it far better than before. Epilogue. Winter returned. Snow settled across the rooftops. Inside DPTMS, a new employee approached Mr. Alonzo Edwards after orientation. "Sir, I started seeing someone who isn't American. I'm not sure whether I need to report anything." Alonzo smiled. "I'm glad you asked. Let's figure it out together." Across the hallway, Jesse overheard the exchange. He smiled to himself. One simple question. One 5-minute conversation. Exactly the conversation he wished he had started nearly a year earlier. Lesson learned. Love wasn't the problem. Friendship wasn't the problem. Germany wasn't the problem. The security process isn't designed to discourage normal life events. Rather, it exists to help agencies understand changes that could affect an employee's responsibilities, trustworthiness, or security obligations. Depending on a person's position, security clearance, public trust designation, and agency policies, certain developments, such as significant foreign contacts, cohabitation, marriage, major financial changes, foreign travel, or other notable life events, may warrant timely consultation with the security office or supervisor. Jesse's greatest mistake was assuming instead of asking. A brief conversation early in the process could have clarified what, if anything, needed to be reported, reduced uncertainty, and demonstrated sound judgment. Because in personnel security, the strongest words an employee can say are often, "Something in my life has changed, and I'd like to make sure I'm doing the right thing." Thank you for sticking around as we explore the boundaries of an extended storyboard. Think of it as security training with a plot twist, and a fresh way to both educate our team and connect with our military community. Subscribe to our fiction-based YouTube @Secure Narratives channel. Hit us with a like and watch for our new updates.